Read the Q&As. Welcome back, everyone. Sorry for taking a bit later than what we expected. We were having technical issues. So big apologies for not being able to incorporate a Q&A within our first two speakers. We were just trying to get aligned with the time because we did start late. But going forward, we'll try and have some questions online as well as maybe a question in person in terms of the speakers that we have. Without any further ado, I will ask our next speaker, Thabo, who is a life coach and a very big contributor within the accounting fraternity, to come give us some insights on how to go about the APC journey.
All right, mic testing. Am I audible? Oh, good. All right, good morning, everybody. So I'm going to try catch your time so that we don't... You guys are doing yoga. Hey, a little bit of yoga. Hey, what? So quick introduction. So I'll just put that slide up so you can see who I am. In addition to being a chartered accountant, I am an ordinary member of Coaches and Mentors South Africa. So that means my job is to hang out with people, mostly entrepreneurs, the whole day, and then they pay me. So I'm a member of Coaches and Mentors South Africa, and one of our companies is called Appreciate Africa, and we work with entrepreneurs and change makers in South Africa, in the SADC region, in Kenya and Uganda. Right. And I'm also a member of the International Leadership Association, and this is very important so that you can understand where I'm coming from. So my job is to develop as many leaders as we can in the accounting profession. I've done that for over 18 years, and outside of the accounting profession, I've been doing that for 8 years now. Now, a little bit about myself. I come from a small town called Mukopane, where nothing really happens. I joke, we have, I think, the largest open pit mine. We mine platinum primarily, the second largest platinum belt in the world. So we do have a lot of money. So I was born and raised there. And this is where I fell in love with business. So my mom sold, my mom had a stall on the side of the road, and after school, we would go and help her. There's a couple of things that I learned there, and that experience is very invaluable. It taught me to understand when is money in the streets, right? So because we're in a mining town, when do the mining community and the mining workers make money, and how can we get that money from their pockets into our hands and also feed our families? And that kind of set the tone for me being and studying business. When I was young, I started a couple of businesses that didn't quite work out. I heard there was a talk about Eskom. I wasn't happy with Eskom because when I was in grade 9, I started a paraffin business because we didn't have electricity. And talk about disruptions, Eskom came, Kokasi, and that was the end of that business. Right, so I will tell you this, and it will make sense why I have to tell you a bit about myself. So my mom, apart from having a stall, she was a domestic worker, right? So as a domestic worker, we would have to relieve her, especially on school holidays and after school and stuff like that. But one of the things that she's taught us, we good? Yeah, there we go. Thank you. One of the things that she's taught us, and I say us because she had 9 children. I'm number 8, mommy's boy. 6 sisters, 2 unfortunately passed away before they reached 10. So I grew up with 5 sisters around the house. And one of the things that she taught us was, can you go back? Because I can see you're moving ahead of me there on the. One of the things that she taught us is that she is the one that's poor, not us. She was like, I chose your father, me and your father. Domestic worker, a gardener, You know, I chose him, but we are the ones that are struggling. So nothing should ever stand in your way. And that's very important. That's the attitude that I grew up with. And I knew that because we couldn't afford school, I knew that I had to earn my way, and to do that, I had to succeed and excel academically. So this is me, 2006, I think, at the Tutuka Excellence Awards. I was a top student at the University of Limpopo. Yes, 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 yes. I don't know if you can see me there. Yes. When I was young and handsome. So bottom third from the left. Yeah, so I knew that I had no choice but to excel, you know. So that's kind of one of the things that really got me. I knew that I needed to excel, and that's something that I also carry today. I'll tell you, for example, my parents have never paid school for me since high school. So from grade 8, I got in bursary. The maid's child was in school with the teacher's children and the nurse's children and all of those things. And I've never paid. I mean, I've studied, became a CA. I've studied. I lived in the US for about 13 weeks, where I was studying and working in Washington, DC. And I've got a coaching certificate in coaching, which I spent about 12 months doing, over 300 hours of study, torture. But anyway, I've never had to pay. And I don't believe that I'll ever in my life, I need to take money from my family's trust or wealth or pot or piggy bank, whatever you call it. I don't believe that money must leave my family for me to study. And that is something that I'm raising the kids with. I'm an uncle of 23. Yeah, I can 5 sisters. Family, 1 brother, 5 mola, 3 mola, 2 mola, and so on. So it's something that we live with, to say, and it's very important. I talk about money because I grew up without money. Therefore, it's very important that when you break the generational curse of money, you understand that money must not leave your pocket. It must not leave your family. It's not yours. In case you think it's yours, it's not yours. It belongs to your family. It belongs to the legacy that your parents. So konka, obecha. In fact, when I was at varsity, I had a very strange rule. Ne? I said, I don't do broke. I was broke. So if I liked a girl and I found out that she's also broke, I'll take my like back, like, hey. If I double tapped and then it was a like, no, I'll tell you why, and it's based on experience. Sometimes, and this is just on a lighter side. So sometimes the money is not mine, it's my family's money. You would learn people in Gauteng like saying, hey, petty men, they like wumma. Of course, we have to. You get what I'm saying? That's why we've got double stories in the rurals, because we come from nothing. We were raised by strong single mothers. Anyway, so I excelled academically, and I continue to do. And I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that I've learned along the journey. So the first one is do you. Do you, boo. Do you. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. You don't, oh, don't worry. You can write notes, but you're also going to get a copy of this. Yeah, don't worry. Right. So if you do take notes, do take those and then transfer them into I call it a workbook that we're going to give you. So first and foremost, you need to understand that it's okay to be you. Right. I was a kid who was the bursary kid, and that to be okay to be me. I went to school. Sometimes my shoes, you know, those student Prince shoes from Pep, they will always break somewhere here. And we'll find very creative ways of putting, because now they're like this. And now you have to put them together, or you take a wire and then you put it around. But it was who I was, right? But secondly, I also was comfortable in terms of who I was becoming. I knew that I'm a success, and I never feared failure. But because I grew up poor, everybody wanted me to explain myself to them as to why. No matter why I was so confident. Eh? Why is the maid's child so confident? Why is he mooring everyone here in class? You understand what I'm saying? So much so that when I was in third year, I went to the University of Limpopo, and this was a long time ago. So 2005, one of the lecturers wanted me to stand up in class and say that I will never become a chartered accountant. And I told her, I don't need your permission. I was like, I don't need your permission to be a chartered accountant. I just need you to teach me what you teach me, and I'm going to pass. So much so, I passed so well that when I finished my undergrad and I was doing my CT at UJ, I would come and help her in her classes at the University of Limpopo during weekends. And that was me doing me. So I don't need to explain. So in the next slide, I ask you, whose permission is it that you are seeking? So a lot of the times, part of the reasons why we don't succeed is because we still need to explain ourselves to Bay. You know, sometimes even your relationship can put you down. You need to explain why are you doing second attempt? Why on a Saturday, but jola? You know, Sunday, you know, Sundays for lovers, when you are here, out here APC, you know. So and I'm saying this so that we can laugh, but when you're alone, you will get the slide and it asks, whose permission are you looking for? Right? And you need to go back and then say, I don't need your permission to be me because I'm doing me. You get what I'm saying? It can be your parents. It can be your friends. Oh, friends, guys. It can be your friends. Why do you want to be a coach when you're already a chartered accountant? Because that's what I like doing. You know, the chartered accountant doesn't go away. I still pay my CASA membership, and when it matters, I put CASA after my name. and when it has to do with money. So I put that at the bottom, that when you ask for permission, it actually kills your willpower. And one of the greatest things God has given us is our will. You know, you can do whatever you want. If you want to sin. You know, you'll repent later. But right, if you want to do something, if you want to excel, you don't need anybody's. So when you are sitting down, I want you to reflect and say, who am I doing this thing for? You know, I used to say, I wanted to be a CA so that, you know, we are no longer poor at home. But me, I wanted to be a CA for me. I wanted money. But like Malevin said, it's only money that I want. And I only wanted money. So on the next slide, we talk about what is success. And success is predictable. And so is failure. That's something that I was taught. If you want to be successful, you know there are certain things you need to do. Do them. Most of them are boring, right? So we live in an age where we are chasing excitement. And like we are junkies, the drug addict for excitement. We want excitement. We want to do an exciting job. Oh, my job, my God, my job is boring. I don't know how I'm changing people's lives. You know, by paying that invoice, you are changing so many people's lives. Trust me, I run a small firm in Dunambe. You guys know, if you don't get paid in Dunambe team, right? So remember that success is predictable. And the definition there says success is the predictable result of hard work, sacrifice, and learning put into practice every day. Every day. It's not every day. Then, another thing that I think you need to be very mindful of, and I like that Oratile started with, you know, yoga and mindfulness. You need to be mindful of, so a lot of people because I coach a lot of executives, sometimes, yes. Some of them used to be my students at UJ, my students at the University of Limpopo, and we've walked the journey together. So something that I didn't mention is I've been involved in the past 18 years from high school programs in Tutuka to doing university programs, graduate programs. When I was at AG, I was the head training officer, and I had 1,200 trainees. And then I left, and since then we've just been working on how do we get the people that are signed off from AG, from SNG, from the firms that the market is rejecting, and we get them into jobs. We help them become specialists. So one of the things that I learned is sometimes we fall in love with the destination, with the outcome. Hey, CASA, I want to be CASA. Yesterday I was explaining something to say, if someone tells you they're CASA, it's likely that they have low self-esteem. Because that's all they can say. Oh, I'm a chartered accountant. How can you say that to me? You know, not I know this, not that the book says this. So sometimes when you fall in love with the outcome of being a CASA, you block your brain from seeing what can happen. And you become so tense because, hey, man, CASA, I must pass APC. Hey. But the trick that I've learned is to enjoy the journey. So you'll see that the steps at first year, enjoy the journey. Whether they pass you or they fail you, just enjoy. You know, na enjoyment. Just enjoy the journey. And those who enjoy the journey are so relaxed and they are likely to reach that goal. Even with people that are CEOs and CFOs, the ones that are in our coaching programs, we focus on that to say, are you really enjoying this journey? Because I can hear you are worried about what does she think of me? You understand, you're looking for people's permission. Enjoy the journey. The challenges that come with it, just enjoy the journey. And you would find that at some point in your journey, you were enjoying it until my APC, and you're like, yo, right? Then something that I like is that it's not a marathon. Eh? It's a marathon, sorry, it's not a sprint. It's not Usain Bolt. This thing is a journey that we need to walk. This is from one of my favorite books. It's called Own Your Industry. After you pass APC, we can talk about it. So in Own Your Industry, this is one of the books that we use to assist people that come, some of the people we coach to specialize in something. So you own your industry, you become a specialist in an area, investment banking, psychology, yoga, mindfulness, you know, leadership development and stuff like that. So it says, for you to be a legend, you need to start at the bottom to being a novice, a working drone, a practitioner, then you become a specialist. On your CV, in the book, they define what a specialist is. So if you say you specialize in what, maybe you might want to grab the book and check if, right? Then you become the authority. From there, you become a thought leader. So when people say, hey, we need a coach, someone will always say, you know who you should talk to Tav. You understand? So that's how you position yourself. So I'm linking this with what loving the process. So if you love the process at whatever stage where you are still young and you've got a boss and maybe the boss is not, some of us worked for white Afrikaner men that literally just came from the military. So meaning every education, now you guys are studying APC, their APC was apartheid. And how to oppress Black people. And we worked for these people, right? And we had to enjoy the journey, because if you don't enjoy the journey, you just become bitter. And you don't know what your generational mandate is. Our generational mandate is to make it easier for the kids that come after us, and that's what we've done. Okay, cool. Now, what does competence mean to you? Because I'm sure the C, SAICA focuses on competence, and I used to sit on the training regulations committee of SAICA in 2014. Yes, I know, right? Right. I was 20. Yeah, let's not go there. I was 27 and I sat on the training regulations committee. And again, you know, transformation takes time. That's something that I want you to understand. So competence, what does it mean to you? You will complete your workbook in terms of what competence means to you. But I want to share with you what we do in our coaching practice. We've Dr. Ilana, who trained me to become a coach, says competence is defined by BEACS. And BEACS is your behavior, your experience, your attitude, your knowledge, and your skills, right? So in summary, are you behaving like someone who deserves to pass APC? She just told you What does that someone look like? You practice, you look at alternative A, alternative B, you ask yourself, what questions can we, those are the habits. So what kind of habits do you have? What do you experience? Do you leverage on your experience? A lot of people will tell you, especially because we work with people from public sector, they will tell you, oh no, Godfrey, which is my other name. When we go out there, when I sit with kids from EY and, they just know more than me, I was like, do they know the PFMA? Like, no, they don't know. So do you tell them about the PFMA? No, I don't think it's important. That's your problem. Right. So it's important. So I'm gonna, in the next couple of slides, I've kind of, I know it doesn't look very nice here because it's PDF'd, but when you get the slides, it's to say, how do you behave? Do you behave like someone who's competent? Do you know yourself? Do you know your self-limiting beliefs? The voice in your head. What are the things that you are hearing about you? It could be that someone criticizes you. So sometimes in arguments, someone can say something that sticks with you. That day, I remember I was like, hey, you are arrogant. I was like, hey, and that stuck with me. And for me, I was being confident. And I worked in an environment where almost everyone was doing undergrad as trainees, and I came in with CTA. So already the expectation was that I must lower myself and I mustn't speak up and what. And that kind of created a self-limiting belief for me, because sometimes I would just believe my confidence is arrogance when it's not. Do you believe, so listen to the things that be mindful of the things that you are thinking about yourself. Then when you have a negative thought, go back, use evidence. I mean, we studied auditing, right? Is there evidence that suggests that I'm stupid? If the answer is yes, it's okay. Let's look at that evidence against everything else. Right? How big and how material is this evidence? And it's very important that you get, I got myself into that practice to say, oh yeah, no, I was stupid 1 day out of 30 this month. So I don't think I did badly, because it's what's 1 over 30. I marked myself as like, even in Jimutsera standards, it's still not a pass, Therefore, this thing that I'm believing is not true. I cannot be stupid. I passed my undergrad with an average of, the lowest mark I got was 60%, right? I got into CTA first test, I got 28% tax rate. I know it wasn't the tax rate, it wasn't nice, but again, it created a self-limiting belief that later in life I needed to unlearn. So you will get this, and after this, you will just get your own, it will say behavior, and all of these things will be blank. And you will define for yourselves what are some of the behaviors that you want to adopt in the next 2 weeks, right? And be mindful of those, and you can print that. Secondly, experience. Your experience matters. I started by telling you that I understood business from the streets, selling the tamatil the onions. I still use that experience in the boardroom today. In fact, on all the boards that I sit on and the committees I sit on, that's why they want me, because I don't think like them. You understand what I'm saying? If you go to Pick n Pay, they want to get Kokas. How many people do they know that are CAs that come from Kokasi that have this experience and have sold on the streets? You get what I'm saying? So your experience matters. I don't know what your experience is, it matters. So the experience that you got from your articles, the experience that you got from your undergrad, the experience that you've gotten, it matters, right? Use that, whatever worked for you, see if it can work in the APC so that you start eating away at that doubt and the self-limiting beliefs. And there's a quote that I like that says, you can only connect the dots looking back. When you look back, you're like, that's why we broke up. Hey, I'm so glad I broke up with that person. When you go Kokasi and you see the high school ex, and you're like, yo, guys, what was I thinking? Anyway, so, and another thing that I was taught, and I put it right at the end of that slide, is to say, stick to the basics. That's where the marks are. A lot of us get into the exams, we want to unlock the masterpiece, as we say it, like, yeah, and sometimes just writing dear sir, like write an email, you forget to write an email, So as you are practicing, look and stick to the basics. There was a story I was going to share, but I can't now because we don't have time. Your attitude. Do you have an attitude of a winner? Right? The TV that you are watching, is it the TV of winners? Are you watching Messi? Are you watching Beyonce? You understand what I'm saying? Because Beyonce made how much now with the Renaissance tour Melody you were there? She made billions, guys, of US dollars. You still need to multiply it by. You understand what I'm saying? And if you study how winners think, you will win. Because Umkoka is nice, Shem. I won't lie. I watch it. It's nice. Mom's always my girl. But but even in there, you know, what are the strategies she's using to win? You get what I'm saying? If you don't watch Umkoka, don't worry. Then on the attitude thing, I want to end with this. On the attitude thing, we live in a world where you see Melody going on holiday every weekend, right? Those who follow Melody know what I'm talking about. She's my girl. And we also live in a world where we end up feeling like it's not okay to be okay, right? I know it's okay not to be okay, but it's more important to be okay than not okay. You understand what I'm saying? So it's okay. So sometimes when you are feeling good, don't doubt to Ray Mara, oh God, I'm feeling too good. You know, as I was growing up, about too much. You know, yeah. You are too happy when something bad is going to happen. It's another self-limiting belief. So especially as an adult, you need to be okay with things being okay. You know, sometimes in a relationship, you're just like, yeah, how romantic, like, you know, it's not exciting anymore. Or like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? You know, you love this person. Yeah, you want to take them out, take them out. You know, especially now women, take us out. Anyway, so it's okay to be okay, and you need to be mindful of the things that don't make you okay. You remember we spoke about this earlier. Then, I like this one, knowledge. Fans of Boondocks will love this one. So there are known knowns. These are things that we know, like, oh, yeah, I know that one, right? And there are known unknowns. You know you don't know this thing, right? Even in the APC exam, you know there are some things you don't know, right? Spend time there on the things that you know you don't know. Then there are unknown knowns. These are things that you don't know that you know. Let me give you an example. When we sat for one exam, they said, advise this airport company on how they can maximize their revenue. Now, I told you where I come from, and I told you my background. Now I'm sitting in an exam, they're saying me. I must tell the guys at the airport how they must make money. I have never been to them. Like I never accompanied someone to the airport. You understand what I'm saying? I've never seen an airport in my life. Like I never passed like Mutek Simbaroki Airport, right? So I was panicking in this exam, right? And I remember thinking, okay, calm down. Oratile said we must take deep breaths. I must do this, you know, I must do this and do that. And no, we also had our own sessions at UJ. And when I calmed down, I was like, what do I know? I was like, come on, there was a movie I watched. This girl, this guy were friends. This lady got in love, became in love with this professor, old guy, but he wasn't happy. She wasn't happy. And then she told him, if you want me, you'll follow me. We are going on holiday. This guy is like, no, Avayang, I don't think I like you. You're my boy. You're my friend, right? So this lady leaves with this professor. And this guy now, sitting with his friends, is listening to sad music. And then it hits him that, no, actually, I love that girl. So he starts running to the airport. He takes off his shoes. You know, in America, you must take off everything except your clothes, right? Belts and I used that experience. So I didn't know that I know about an airport at that time. And then I said, okay, now I understand. I've seen, this is my only experience of an airport that I've seen in a movie, right? Now, this is a revenue question. So there must be money. Yeah, you understand what I mean? I did not pass that exam, but I got 48%. You understand what I'm saying? And that was my unknown known. I didn't know that I knew. And then there are some things that you should never even care about, and those are unknown unknowns. Like you don't know that you don't know this thing. Like, we don't know that there's mountains that were, before Kilimanjaro was discovered, there was a mountain that was said to be the highest mountain in the world. And then they found Kilimanjaro, and then it was like, oh, okay, you know, it moved from being an unknown to a known. You happy? So when you look at your scripts, go back. These are the things that I know. Don't waste too much time on the things that you know, because sometimes, like Juta, man, you fool yourself into, you trick yourself into thinking, if I just do this question that I'm good at, you know, I will feel. And you don't focus on the things that you know you don't know. And those are the things that will move you from 42% to 51. And I want to close on this issue. I just want to close with this. The best CAs in this country got 51%. Okay, so skills, I can tell you I got 51% for auditing throughout CTA. You understand what I'm telling you? Okay, level at the top 35, not a lot of them got honors. And not a lot of them got Woma 75 free. Scholars burning. So on the skills, one of the skills that I think is very important in becoming a CA is you need KISS. KISS. Just kiss. Kissing is nice. I don't know who you are kissing, but that's it. That's for you and your bros, right? But kiss. Keep it simple and then simplify. A lot of the times we want to be sophisticated. We want to talk English that we don't know. I had this word, comic G, Ricky. No, succinct, you know, just say what you want. What do you want? Keep it simple. I gave you the scenario of the aeroplane. I had to simplify it and say taxi rank. And I know what happens at a taxi rank. The controls are a bit more different because as one speaker said, Woolworths Kispaza shop. It's an aircon. Right, it's just a very, and then lastly, you will learn that they say you should have analytical skills. That doesn't mean you must overthink. Already you've got the analytical skills. Already. You know how I know? Because we struggle to date other people. Because you are just overanalyzing, you are seeing a risk. You know, like, have you ever gotten into an argument with Bay just based on principle? No, it's not about the braid. It's just that how you said it and how you are treating me. So already we do have the analytical thinking, and it's already been done. And that's the E in experience. Just remember that analytical thinking or critical thinking doesn't mean you should overthink. Look at your neighbor and say it is what it is. Look at your neighbor and say it is what it is. Right. Then, in closing, I wish you success, but the success that I wish Black people is not the success just to make it through a needle. I wish you the success that comes with your hard work. Because if you, let me tell you what's the worst thing that can happen to you. If you become a CA and you feel you don't deserve to be one, boy, we've got problems. But little phone every day. Because now you're going to have to work on, you understand what I mean? That's why, in closing, I would say, go back to your beaks. What are the behaviors, the experience, the attitude, the knowledge, and the skills? And again, because don't overthink it again. Like, don't come here and say, no, let me Google ChatGPT, tell me what are the 10 common problems for accountants. No, it's about you, right? Why are we doing this? So that this, I don't know anyone who's comfortable with this. So we need to change this into that. And in closing, have a great journey with your APC, and I call it a journey because we said those who are in love with the journey are the ones that usually succeed. Bon voyage. So this, I know Africa. Hey, it wasn't fruitless and wasteful expenditure from.
No, it wasn't. Thank you so much for that, Thabo. I don't even know how to summarize that, but I think one of the things I picked up is that it's a journey, guys, and just enjoy it along the way. There will be hiccups, but you've got enough people around you to help you with those. And the other one is that is only one you, so it's important to do you and be authentic. I always hear this in a lot of workshops and talks I go to, and one of the standing words that people use is that be authentic with yourself and be authentic in your journey.
Like what does that look like? Sorry.
Exactly, yes. But I think you've given us practicalities of how to do that. So thank you very much, Tabo. We will have time for one in-person question and one question online. So if anybody wants to ask
Please
something,
keep them nice, ne?
Just one, guys. Don't be shy. Don't wait until after he's gone and say, hey, Tabo, I wanted to ask you 1, 2, 3. Nobody.
Do you have an online question? So you guys don't want to know nothing? Okay. They're still thinking. Oh, there's a question.
It's always the speakers that ask the other speakers questions.
I think maybe for me, it's typically when you move into like a new industry, you like I think I resonated a lot with like you're battling with your self-esteem, your knowledge. It's something different, which was more my experience when I was doing that electricity project, and having to find yourself mentally in a space where you're like, you know what, it's okay, I can do this. I just need to, immerse myself.
Sure.
It's a bit of a, I want to say, you feel like you're dragging yourself out the mud mentally. But yeah, what advice do you have for things like that?
So interesting. Thank you for asking that question. So one of the things that I in our program we focus on is that your experience. Ne? So if you look at any question that you've done, have you guys noticed how many industries you know about? There's questions on pharmaceuticals, there's questions on agriculture, there's questions on telecoms, there's questions on almost every industry. When you look at those case studies, as an examiner of exams, I won't say which exams so that I can be safe. We get the questions directly from MTN Group. My wife works at MTN Group, by the way. She's in technology audit. So when I listen to her sometimes, and when I listen to the work that she does, I can set a question based on that. So your examiners, the questions that you are doing are real life. So one of the skills, and that's what I'm saying, thank you for asking this. One of the skills that creates a lot of confidence is knowing that after you have done this question, you understand a little bit about the industry. Because that day when I was struggling, I understood a little bit about the airline industry. You get what I'm saying? Then I went to do another question and I understood a little bit about that industry. So when you are given a job, just remember that, for example, my friends and I will always say, when we get an assignment, we'll say, oh, this is SLEM Limited. No, it's a question that we did in 2009. Oh, this is power lines, So we would always go back and say, we have done this in a case study somewhere. And when we come to the job, if we get stuck, we can always go back to the competence that we had shown because we passed that exam. Or if we didn't pass it, we got the solution and we were like, oh yeah, I was supposed to say this. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, that counts quite a lot. But also lastly, get a mentor and a coach. Very, very important because you get unstuck very quickly. And lastly, if you want a mentor, some of you always make this mistake of saying a mentor must be free. That's why mentorship doesn't work in this country. And that's why I'm a paid mentor. You want me to be a mentor? Okay, sharp. Here's my cycle rates per hour. All right, cool. Let's. I see we've got one hand and then we can go.
Yeah, so we'll just take one hand here.
Hello.
Hello.
I just wanted to know how do we tackle, okay, let me speak for myself. How do I tackle imposter syndrome? Because I find there's a lot of things that I understand, and it doesn't only apply on the studies. I find it is a flesh-eating disease that sort of spreads through all the other aspects of life. I just found a name for it.
Okay. Sure.
so I really just want to understand, how do you tackle imposter syndrome? And I don't know where it comes from. Is it trauma? Do you find out where the source and
Sure, I got you.
yeah.
So I'll tell you how I did it, but that's more Oratile's domain, right? How I did it as an accountant is I had to go back to Beeks again to say, but I know this. I deserve to be in this room because I put in the hours, right? And a lot of the time, and where I am now, I normally say, if I worked for 2 hours, I multiplied by my charge out rate. Whether I'm earning that charge out rate or not is not an issue, right? Then I say, I've put in work worth 10,000 into this thing. So if you can understand that you deserve it, and also if you can identify, earlier at the beginning, we said, whose permission are you looking for? When I was in high school, because I was the maid's child, I found myself wanting permission from all these idiots that are the children of the ma'am and the teachers and the police. And then I realized something, that I don't have to take Iskaftin when I went to school, because these guys were running a business around me because I was top student. When we were writing exams, there would always be different people sitting around me so that they improve their marks. And why I'm saying this is that you need to be, yeah, so Baba Kopish. And then one of the guys that I sat with was literally selling those marks. So what I'm saying is, it's important to go back to your experience and say, I survived this before. How did I do it? But I think you can have a deeper conversation with Oratile to just to share the papa. I see there was someone online.
Yes, I
Jenny ends here.
just one
Yeah,
question
just one.
online, yes, and then.
Hi, Tabot.
Hello.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey. It was inspiring. So I've got a twofold question on the last two photos, because for me, that's what I really loved when you talked about moving people from here to here. So
Yes.
First is, what motivates you to do that? Because I know there's a very big temptation once you, I'm going to say make it, because that's what people say, to just focus on me and my family. So I loved that about your presentation. But secondly, what are the practical ways that you are doing it?
Okay, cool. Very easy. For me, it's hunger. So let me give you an example. I run a small firm, which means most of the places that you guys work at, you will never even think of hiring us as accountants. Competent, top 35, under 35, all of these other things, you wouldn't hire us. So what we end up doing is we end up saying, where can we get work? I understand Kokasi. I went to Kokasi, spoke to Anglo-American. Right now, they give me 20 of their suppliers, and then they say, do their books. Bidvest gives me 50. FNB gives me 100, and so on and so forth. For me, it's the hunger that makes me want to go, that serve the people. But secondly, I didn't want to share this. It was initially in my presentation. It's because of who I am. The person I'm named after was in youth development. When I say youth development, I'm talking about mountains, because youth development for him was different, right? So he was initiating people in the mountains, and because I was named after him, I understood that, okay, maybe my purpose in life, I understood why I naturally gravitate towards assisting, but for a very selfish reason. When I coach and when I teach and when I mentor, I learn more than probably the person on the other side. And that's part of the reason why I do it. And then lastly, nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save us. If you look at the policies in your company, they are not pro-poor. They are not saying, let's go to the townships. And that's why we are in those roles. When I sit on those boards, I am there to then say, no, there actually is a township that doesn't have sanitation. Let's redirect our funds there. And I know that once I've redirected funds there, it creates opportunities for me and fellow entrepreneurs to go into the township and invest in those small companies. Elelwani, for example, works at SIFA. Her job is to give small businesses money, right? So by working with small enterprises, I'm able to redirect them. Even you were somewhere. right? Your sister, right? So we are able to then redirect and assist these SMMEs to create jobs, and then our own cousins and our own nephews can also get jobs. So thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy your journey. If you need more of me, you find me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that, Thabo. I really hope you guys accumulated some knowledge from that and things you're able to implement within your respective journeys. We will go on with our program, and next up, I'm going to ask Andisa to come and give us her story. So I personally know Andisa, and I definitely know that you guys are going to get a lot of knowledge out of her. I've had the privilege of working with her and as well as going through university with her. So she is a well of wisdom.